We do not have a written language. So the places that we go to, that we pray to, are really the chapters of that history book.
What if pages of that history were erased forever? This is Chaco Canyon in northern New Mexico. 1,000 years ago, it was a ceremonial center built by one of the most fascinating cultures of the ancient world. Here, the ancestors of today's Pueblo Indians built 14 great houses, the largest buildings in North America until the 19th century. The discovery of a spiral rock carving, which marks with light the key points in the solar and lunar cycles, led to findings that these massive buildings are also precisely aligned to the cycles of the sun and moon. Much mystery surrounds the Chacoans, who left no written texts. Current research depends on the wider Chaco world, which flourished throughout a 70,000 square mile area of the American Southwest. But that legacy is at risk, and the Chaco region is becoming an industrial wasteland. Fracking and horizontal drilling are now able to reach oil that lies a mile below the surface here. The Bureau of Land Management is planning for massive oil and gas development within 6.2 million acres surrounding Chaco Canyon. In addition to considerable risks to this fragile environment, tribal people and researchers feel we will lose sacred cultural resources. The buildings that lie within the Chaco Canyon National Park are protected, but the vast majority of Chacoan buildings and ancient roads are found outside of the park. At least 35 great house sites are within the 6.2 million acres the BLM is facilitating for development. Like the great houses of the canyon, these sites were also elaborate ceremonial centers, but many have not been excavated and can be very subtle and difficult to recognize. At greatest risk are ancient roads, 30 feet wide and remarkably straight. Researchers are only beginning to understand how these amazing constructions were not intended for travel or trade.
These are lines that extend out to particular places that have spiritual significance. This line of energy is establishing the great house place in spiritual space.
The Navajo people have lived for centuries around Chaco.
The landlines that are streaming across the country of the entire landscape are sacred, and they're recited in our ceremonial ways.
I think the roads are crucial to understanding the Chacoan system. Every little segment of a road is a piece of that puzzle, and if they're destroyed before we learn about them, we're never going to recover that.
We as Pueblo people have an obligation to continue to visit those places with our children and our grandchildren. But we as Americans, as part of the bigger community, also are obligated to protect those chapters of that history book so that future generations can continue to enjoy them.
We can protect this national treasure, but it is urgent that our leaders hear from us now. Find out how by following this link